The small town of Atchison, Kansas held a secret that its residents rarely spoke about. Perched atop a hill, shrouded by gnarled trees and an overgrown garden, stood the Sally house. Its peeling paint and broken windows were the least of its oddities. Tales of ghostly encounters and unexplained phenomena surrounded this dilapidated house, drawing the curious and the brave alike. The most popular and terrifying legend revolved around the spirit of a young girl named Sally. Many years ago, the house was home to Dr. Charles Finney, a well-respected physician. One fateful night, little Sally had been brought to him in excruciating pain. Her appendix was on the verge of bursting, and Dr. Finney made the hasty decision to operate immediately. In a tragic turn, his hasty actions led to Sally's agonizing death on the operating table. Her spirit, many claimed, never left the house. Clara and Tom Bailey, a young couple new to town, had heard mixed warnings about the infamous Sally house. Clara, an ardent skeptic, dismissed the ghost stories as fanciful myths. Tom, however, saw an opportunity to challenge his wife's beliefs. Convincing her wasn't easy, but eventually, curiosity got the better of Clara, and they decided to spend a night in the Sally house. It was an unusually warm October evening when they arrived at the house. The air felt thick, almost tangible, with an unsettling energy. They stepped inside, flashlight beams slicing through the dusty gloom. The moment they crossed the threshold, Clara felt an icy sensation dart down her spine. She shrugged it off as nerves. Hours passed in relative silence, save for the occasional creaks and groans of the old house. They explored cautiously, each room showing signs of long abandonment. As midnight approached, Clara started to feel a strange pressure building around her. Tom, ever the thrill seeker, insisted they split up to cover more ground. Clara hesitated but agreed, venturing alone to the basement. The air grew colder with each step. She paused at the bottom, her flashlight flickering. Suddenly, she felt a small, icy hand clasp her own. She jolted, dropping the flashlight. It clattered to the ground, plunging her into darkness. A giggle, childlike, eerie, echoed in the pitch black. Panicking, Clara scrambled to find the flashlight. Heart pounding, she fumbled until the beam illuminated a pair of child's shoes. Terrified, she swept the beam upward, revealing the ghostly figure of a young girl with hollow eyes and a sorrowful expression. It was Sally. Clara's breath hitched as the child's apparition began to whisper, words unintelligible but filled with palpable sorrow. Paralyzed, Clara could only watch as Sally raised a hand to point toward a dusty corner. As Clara's eyes followed, she saw an old, rusted scalpel, a chilling relic of Dr. Finney's grim operation. Just then, Tom burst into the basement, flashlight dancing wildly. The apparition disappeared, leaving behind an icy chill. Clara, still shaking, tried to explain what she saw, but Tom remained skeptical until he saw the scalpel gleaming ominously on the ground. Unnerved, they hastily retreated to the main floor. The night had more surprises in store. Objects moved on their own, disembodied voices whispered through the walls, and cold spots materialized spontaneously. By dawn, Clara and Tom were exhausted, their skepticism shattered. They left the Sally house. The once far-fetched ghost stories now burned into their minds as undeniable truth. From that night on, Clara became a reluctant believer in the paranormal, often recounting their experience with anyone who would listen. Tom, though equally shaken, warned others to stay away from the haunted Sally house. It wasn't just a relic of tragedy, but a gateway to an unresolved past, a place where restless spirits still walked, seeking closure that may never come. The Sally house stood silent and foreboding, a monument to the supernatural, holding within its walls the chilling secrets of those who dared to cross its threshold.